So what is good, YouTube? In for legs today, and obviously I'm going to take you through, explain everything we're doing, full lower day breakdown, we'll call it. So normally on any of my lower days, I start with abs. I do 3 sets of 15 to 20 of cable crunch or leg raises. I alternate between the two. But the minute, dealing with a little bit of a niggle. I don't know exactly what it is. It feels like I've popped a little intercostal muscle or something. So anytime I stretch up too far, I do get a little bit of pain there. It's nothing severe. So I think just give it a couple of weeks, of not training abs, then that'll probably solve the issue, or at least, like I say, give it a little bit of a chance to rest and recover, and then I should be good. But not the end of the world, because who likes training abs anyway? That's why normally I start with abs and calves at the start of any of my leg days. Realistically, if I'm going to skip anything, it's going to be abs and calves. So rather than saving them to the end where I'm battered and I feel a bit exhausted and I've got a good excuse to just be like, oh, I can't be arsed, and walk out, get them done first. That way I know they're going to get ticked off because it's something that I've neglected all the time in previous off seasons. So I'm going to make sure that we don't do that this time around. Okay, so just got done on the adductor. Forgot to talk and explain it before I did it, so I'll run through it now. Basically, the reason why we're doing that after calves and before we go into any of our heavy movements is we want to warm those hips up as much as possible. It's going to create a lot of stability through kind of your hip joints there for then when you go into your heavier movements. And it's a very similar principle as to why I'm doing this next, the seated hamstring curl. Because again, hips are nice and warm now. Now I want to get the knees nice and warm, because when we do our big pressing movements, hack squat, leg press, etc., all the movement comes from your hips and your knees, okay? With this specific seated hamstring curl, it's a primal bit of kit, but most seated hamstring curls are going to have these same adjustments, okay? So the first one, adjustment here, this is going to dictate where that foot pad sits. Basically, you want this to sit at the bottom of the calf around the Achilles. Next one is the axis of rotation here. This is basically going to determine, if I can get my words out, determine how much of a stretch you're going to get. So always set that at the bottom setting if you can, to get as much of a stretch as possible, okay? Then you have this pad, which basically is just going to go down over the top of the legs. You want to make sure that gets nice and tight over the legs, so that you're secured in. You don't want to feel like you can move, right? Think like a roller coaster. You want to be nice and tight, because that is where you're going to create the most stability and therefore generate the most force, which is then basically going to result in building more muscle. Final adjustment is this back pad. So it can go forwards, backwards. How you want to set this up is make sure you can get your back nice and flat against this pad and your knee in line with the axis of rotation there. So most machines will have some form of point where you can tell where it rotates from. You want your knee in line with that. on to hack squat now. So you'll be able to see here, green band attached. Normally I'd use a daisy chain as well, just so that, to be honest, it's a lot less stress on the band, a lot less likely to do any damage to the band. Plus you can get it like further down because it gives you extra length basically. But the reasoning for this reverse band in the hack squat is renowned for being bad for your knees, and my knees aren't the best. Years of training heavy, to be fair, probably is what's done it. But this will make the hack squat lighter at the bottom, so the further down you get, the less tension, which is where the knees are the most vulnerable. So we want to make sure that those knees are well protected at the bottom of that movement, and that's where the exercise is at its lightest. So that's why we reverse band. 2 sets on this. We've got a heavy one, 6 to 10, back off 10 to 15. So I think I've got to get 190 for 8 or 9, and then we've got 160 for 10 plus, basically. So we're going to get into it now.
Shift mean green, sip lean, and the ops don't know. Free up my team with a big dream, and a me man never go pro. See man up in the trap, but I know how to react. Po, no, I never so cold. Come run up in the back, get a bap. You don't want this. Sexy sturdy, come and get 30. Wibble it, wobble it, curvy. Sexy sturdy, come and get murky. Got girl begging up mercy. Sexy sturdy, come and get 30. Wibble it, wobble it, curvy. Come run up in the back, get a bap. You don't want this.
Obviously, hack ticked off. Lower back feeling a little bit twingy, which, to be fair, it has done for the last couple of weeks. I think it's just because we're pushing body weight up and stuff so much at the minute that the lower back pump's kind of unreal. Couple of exercises in, lower back starting to get a little bit pumped. So probably going to look to get like some soft tissue work, treatment. Just make sure we're staying on top of that, because it's one thing I really struggled with last off season. Lower back would just go on me all the time, just from being too pumped, to be honest. So hopefully holds out for the leg press. We've just got leg press to do, then leg extensions. Then we're going to assess how the lower back is, because then we're supposed to do hip extension, which is a relative amount of lower back loading, especially if that lower back's already pretty lit up. So gonna, like I say, we'll assess that and play it by ear. But for this, same format as the hack squat, heavy 6 to 10, and then a back off 10 to 15.
I'm loving them dick and them juicy. Airless, Chris Ekabusi. Got 5 links like Tyrone. Now they all trying to recruit me. Pop sherry and cherries, I'm fruity. Got Sally and Debbie and doobies. On Monday it's Megan and movies. On Sunday it's Steph and them groupies. Too easy. I come and they leave me. I'm the boy that they see on the TV. If it's me on the cake, they would eat me. Now they want a slice for the appetite. Yeah, honeys, they be where the bees be. Don't give it a ring to them Gollum guys. My precious, they wanna believe me.
So, realistically, probably could have squeezed another rep or 2 out there, but I could feel it in the lower back. So, just being sensible, not going too far, and taking any reps that are likely to be like a little bit messy. Just want to make sure we're staying nice and tight where the lower back's already lit up, to make sure kind of it's not causing any lasting damage that's going to affect other sessions. Final exercise of the day, we're going to call it after this, just because doing a 45-degree hip extension right now is not going to be a good idea. I've got upper in 2 days where I'm doing bent over rows. If I do that, I'm not going to be able to do bent over rows, and I'm going to struggle to drive home as well. So with the setup for the leg extension, looking very similar to the seated hamstring curl. So we're going to have this back pad in a position where we can get our back flat against the pad. Our knee goes in line with the axis of rotation here. Plus as well, there's no gap between the back of my knee and the seat, okay? If you're too far forward, you'll be able to get your finger underneath there. You want to be able to have this nice and tucked in, nice and tight underneath. From there, we've got 2 more adjustments. You've got the foot pad, which basically you want to sit lower part of the shin somewhere between the lower part of the shin and the ankle. Again, this, you'll know if this is in the right position because it won't roll up and down your leg so much, it will stay fixed. Plus as well, the higher up the shin the pad is, the less pressure goes through the knees. So for me, I always like to go relatively high up the shin to kind of prevent as much pressure going through those knees and as much shear going through the knees as possible. Final adjustment is the actual axis of rotation there. So for me, I always go on the setting 1, which is the furthest setting away, because that's going to put the most stretch through my quads. Okay, so we're just going to do 1 warm-up set and feel a set, just because realistically our quads are already damn warm. And it's 3 sets of 10 to 15 on here. Right, so as you can probably see from me struggling to walk down the stairs, legs are fully cooked, absolutely toasted, blown, can barely stand up, they're fucking trembling. So we are done. Like I say, lower back is way too pumped and way too sore to get anything out of a hip extension right now. Realistically, I'm not going to be driving tension towards my glutes. It's just going to feel horrible and cause loads more kind of prolonged issues with the lower back. So being sensible, leaving that one alone. So that is it for the video. Like, comment, share, subscribe, turn that bell on. Plenty more videos coming your way. We out.